Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, I want to specifically dive into one of my subtopics on why I think that nuclear energy is a better alternative than using typical energy sources that we use today, such as fossil fuels. One of those main reasons is the carbon gas emissions that are released into the atmosphere. The effects of emission that can be felt through the nuclear energy is mining for the resources required for the process of nuclear plants. Now, this mining could release a lot of carbon dioxide, but on the other hand, mining for other resources such as fossil fuels requires just as much energy. So it's not like nuclear energy is making the situation any worse than it already is. And on the other hand, it's also benefiting us because no emissions are happening in the actual plant, unlike the carbon based fossil fuel plants. In a study in the year 2017, it was found that 32.7 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions were being produced and released into the atmosphere. Now, as we all know, climate change and global warming is a major issue in modern day. It affects the actual climate that we live in, raising the global temperature by 1 to 2 degrees a year sometimes. The water levels are rising, meaning that the coastal cities are being flooded. And a large portion of this happens because of these factories. And the factories produce so much carbon because a lot of energy is required for two reasons. One, for mining the fossil fuels, and two, for the actual plants that use this fossil fuel energy to produce. In fact, a great analogy to think about this is wind turbines. The wind turbines produce as much nuclear greenhouse gas emissions as do a power plant per part of electricity. In addition, nuclear energy has the potential to be used on a massive scale to the extent of fossil fuels, so it can easily replace it, meaning the gas emissions that were being released into the atmosphere don't necessarily have to because of this alternative. In fact, France, being one of the leading countries in the least amount of greenhouse gas emissions, uses 70% of its electricity from nuclear energy plants. And that goes to show the potential that nuclear energy has because of this one reason. It is a better alternative for the environment. And in the year 2000, it was found that the amount of families that require and want electricity in their homes had risen by 2/3. And this number is just expected to rise as more and more countries start using electricity as a modern power source. If we continue on the trend of using fossil fuels and carbon dioxide emissions for the necessity of energy, the climate change is just going to get worse and worse. To make up for this increase in usage of electricity, it's important that we also understand that a lot more energy is going to be required, and this energy should be used with. Overall, we can see how nuclear energy really affects the environment, which is minimal compared to what is currently happening. So, for the environment and for the future of maintaining a proper climate, it is necessary that we switch to nuclear energy instead of using the current fossil fuels that we are today. Thank you, and next time we come back, we're going to be talking about our next two subtopics. So, yeah.